I talk a lot about the areas that I'm doing wrong or that I'm not getting right. I want to focus today on what area or areas am I doing right? What area or areas are you doing right, getting right? I was just thinking about excuse me, my JITS journey again, and it's this week has been a little frustrating. Because I've mentioned to you guys before, just kind of the only area I focused on for 2 years. My time doing JITS is defense and survival, and I have a very, very limited offensive game. I could tell you how to do quite a few different moves, but in terms of actually rolling and being able to execute them in a roll, in a live roll, is slim. And so, for me, I've really wanted to, in getting a little bummed out, like, man, my offensive game is not so hot, and hardly get tap anybody out. I thought, well, what I want to balance that with what am I doing right? And I got some feedback from some of the folks that I'm trying to reflect on, rather than reflecting only on negative, reflecting on the positive. One guy who's a 4-stripe blue belt, probably he's a machine. He's an animal. The first couple times we rolled, no kidding, he probably tapped me out three to four times in our 6 or 7 minute rolls that we would do. And I'm like, man, he's always catching my elbow. Well, so I got coaching from him afterwards. Hey, man, what can I do differently? How can I prevent this? And so the last time that we rolled, he's like, and I was like one of his last rolls for the day, he said, dude, out of the 7 to 10 people I rolled with today, I had the toughest time trying to submit you. And I don't remember if he probably submitted me. I don't remember. But he's like, I had the toughest time out of all of my rolls trying to submit you. And he's like, dude, I can definitely tell your defensive game has grown tremendously just in the last month that you've been rolling here. And that was great feedback for me. So rather than dwelling on the negative of what's going on in your life, or maybe even negative feedback that you've received, because I've received that too, is balance that out with what are you doing good? What are you doing a good job with? And obviously, are there areas of my defense that I can still improve in? 100%. But that is an area that, of the little JITS game that I've got, my defensive game is the strongest. And so I'm using that positive, secondhand smoke, if you will, to keep me going back to the gym again as I continue to develop in the different areas of JITS that there are to develop in, which there's a ton. So think about that for life too. What are you doing well? Are you being intentional with your parenting? Are you implementing good financial habits? Are you really pursuing your relationship with the Lord very intentionally? Are you really growing and working on daily your marriage? Are you doing a great job at work? Are you being really good at being an active listener? You are doing a great job with your making the harder right decision versus the easier wrong decision. What areas of your life, and maybe list it out, do a list. What are the top 3 to 5 areas that you are doing a good job in? And give yourself some props, and maybe even do some deeper thinking about that and ask yourself why. Well, why am I doing a good job in this area? Why do I have a pretty strong defensive game in JITS so far, rather than like, oh my gosh, I can't tap, a white belt out. You know what I mean? Think about reflect on what you are doing good, and maybe even, okay, what's one thing I can do to take my defensive game up to the next level, or to take my parenting to the next level, take my faith to the next level, deepen my relationship with the Lord, deepen my relationship with my spouse. How can I be, more intentional with my emotional growth, right? Just one notch above, not 10 leaps above, but just what's one notch that you can do that is going to add value to where you're at right now and stretch you a little bit. Not stress you out, but stretch you a little bit. I think it's important to balance out the areas that you've got to work on with the areas that you're doing a very good job in. So be intentional at reflecting on the positive aspects of your life that you are doing a good job in. And just love being a part of this emotional growth journey with you guys so that we can change the world by changing your world by changing you.